Sure.
You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So up to now, so we have discussed the tables, listings, and so figures as well as Adam data sets. Okay. So how to create. So from today onwards, we are going to start with our SDTM classes. Okay. We have used SDTM data sets source for the Adam. Adam data sets are the source for the TFLs. So here, how to create this SDTM. So what are the standards we should follow? So where to search the information to write a programming, etc. details. Before writing a programming of the domains, I'll give some introduction in today's class so that you will get some idea. So from tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with the programming part. Okay. So here why I'm explaining introduction because like Adam implementation guide also I have explained in the one class because the interview people may check you theoretical knowledge as well whether you are following the implementation guide or not. So most of the programmers know how to write a coding, but they haven't looked these points so that interview people may expect these points as well from the programmer. Okay, so this is the SGTM overview class. Yeah. So what is SDTM? SDTM nothing but the study data tabulation model. So the main and important document we have to refer is the implementation guide. So Adam implementation guide 1.1 version we have followed for the studies. So here in the studies we have followed 3.3 version. So here 3.2 they mentioned, but it is 3.3. 3.2 is older version. So we follow the 3.3 version. So here you can see HGTMIG implementation guide version 3.3 version we have following latest. So how to decide this version? So whenever the project was started, in the sense whenever the clinical trial was started for the compound or drug, so that time what is the latest version? We generally follow that latest version. Otherwise, in the kickoff meeting with the client, so we will ask the client which version they want to follow. So that version we just follow entire program, entire project. So in the middle of the project we can't change the versions, even the latest version also available. So entire project we are following only one version. Okay. So here, so 3.2 version also there. I am uploading the document as well. So there is not much difference between 3.2 and 3.2, but few changes are there. Okay, here 3.2 version, if you go and see here the table of content, you will see most of the times short forms. Okay, comments, CO, demographic, DM, subject element, ACA, like that you can see. But in the 3.3, we don't have see that short forms. So if you know any domain, so simply searching the domain, demographic, they haven't given any short forms. Okay, so whenever you want to create a domain, simply click on the domain, it will take through that particular page. In that they clearly mention what are the variables you want to be included. In the Adam level they given the rules, but in case of HTTM they clearly mention the variable names. Only those variables only we have to include the domain. Even so other variables we are not allowed to include the domain in the domain as per the CDISC rule. Okay. Yeah, here why we need this HGTM. So why can't we directly handling the raw data set to create the tables listings here? Why HGTM needed? Why ADAM needed? Why we are using the ADAM to generate the TFL? Why we can't directly use the raw data set to TFLs? Okay, so what happened in the raw data set has not full furnished data, as well as raw data has some invisible characters and some complex is there. Raw data set names were company to company also change. So if you are trying to write a programming, so many variables need to be derived in each programming, and we can use that in the table level. For example, adverse event tables or 10 adverse event tables are there. So each and every table we can't derive the imputation rules, we can't derive the safety flags. That is why so we derive everything in one Adam data set, and we use that Adam data set for the TFL purpose. So Adam the source is SDTM. So why can't we create this SDTM data set? Why we can use the raw data set to Adam? Because so if everybody is following their own standard, so the submission team like USFDA or other regulatory authority, it will take more time to review. For example, here, so A, B, C, D, four CROs are they have own standard. So if they go for the submission with their raw data set with the TFL, what happen? So ACRO having raw data set name XX, BCRO YY, CCRO raw data set name is ZZ, DCRO AA. So four different raw data set name, and everybody has to put the gender information of the clinical trial in this format. ACRO they will give male, female. BCRO the naming they will give MAL and FEM. CCRO they will give one for male, zero for female. DCRO they will give zero for male, one for female. So a lot of confusion. If they go with this four CROs USFDA, so CCRO they will give one for the male, DCRO zero they will give for the male. So this much of confusion is there for CROs for different raw data set, but the same gender information because a clinical trial having male or female. So that information they give different. So to get everything standard structure, this SGTM was implemented. Okay. So that what happened, these four CROs, everybody has to create the SGTM data set. So they will take the raw data set and they will map the SGTM data set, and they has to follow the CDISC rule. As per the CDISC rule, the gender information has to create the data set name called M, variable name called sex, observations are M or F. So that what happened? So these four CROs they will create their HDTM by using their raw data set. So CCRO how they will write? If SY1 equal to 1, the sex equal to male. SY1 equal to 0, sex equal to female. Like that they will write. So DCRO how they will write? SX equal to 0, sex equal to male. SX1 equal to 1, male, sex equal to female. Like that they will write the code. So like that everybody has to write as per the CD scroll code, and everybody has to finally what happened, this 4CR was having their DM domain, sex variable, male and female. So everybody go to the USFDA with their SDTM dataset. It will easily review because everybody following the same standard structure. Okay, that is the main use of the SDTM. Not much programming involved, most of the SDTM simply mapping the exact information from the raw data set to the SDTM dataset. So the definition is it defines a standard structure for a human clinical trial. Data tabulations are for non-clinical study data tabulation that are to be submitted as a part of a product application to regulatory authorities such as the United State Food and Drug Administration, that is USFDA. Okay, this is the main purpose and key use of the SGTM. So in the SGTM, so the main and important document is implementation guide. As I show 3.3 and 3.2, that is the key document. Everybody has to research, and everybody has to search the information in the implementation guide. You can also download the different versions of SGTM implementation guide from the portal. So next, there are three key building blocks to how data is structured in the SDTM implementation guide. So data classes, variable roles, and core variables. Okay. So data classes, like Adam data set, we are categorized all the Adam data sets into three. One is ADSL, OCCDS, BDS type of data structure. Here, all the SDTM data sets are categorized into six major classes: interventions, events, findings, domain, trial design, relationship. These are the six classes: interventions, events, findings, domains, trial design, and relationship. Okay. So, what is the interventions? So, interventions nothing but treatments that are administered to the subject. That is nothing but any treatment related, any drug related information, or what the subject is taken the drug, like exposure or concomitant medication. So anything taken by the subject, anything intervention happened to the subject, type of data sets of SDTM comes under the class of intervention. Okay. So events like adverse events are there. Some events may happen during the clinical trial, like planned protocol milestones, occurrences, some incidents, some conditions were happen. So that type of information they captured in the data set, and those data sets are comes under the class of events, adverse event or disposition events. Okay. So next finding, something we measured and we will get some result. Like they are doing some systolic BPR, diastolic BPR, temperature, height, pulse rate, oxygen saturation. So many parameters if they measured, so they will get some value. Quantitative value will get, like if they measure the temperature, they will get like 98.5, 100 temperature, 1 or 2 temperature. The value will get. So those type of something they measured and they will get some value. Observation results from the plant evaluation type of data set comes under the class of findings. Okay, like vital signs or physical examination. These are the data sets. So they measured and they will get some value. Okay. So next domain. So basic information nothing but so subject related basic information: height, weight, not height, weight, like age, sex, and race, and treatment related, some arm CD related. So that type of general information containing data set comes under the class of the domain. So demographic or comments. What are the comments written by the doctors, or what are the comments received from the client? So that information we will mention as a domain. Like what are the visits also there? So those are also comes under the domain. So trial design. Before starting the trial, so we are going to create a study wise data, not the subject wise, study wise. So particular study, how many treatments are used. Okay. So the particular study, how many visits are there. Okay. For example, one subject have 4 visits, another subject has 3 visits. So total 4 visits only for the study. Likewise, so the study wise information, we will create some Excel sheet and pull there into the data set called trial design. Before starting, the study, like after kickoff meeting, the principal programmer or lead programmer will create the trial related data set for the client review purpose. So once they approve, then we'll start with the other domain coding. So whenever we need some information for the reference, we can cross check with the trial domain, as well as whenever the Pinnacle 21 tool checks time also, the trial domains are must, because the Pinnacle 21 tool will cross check with the trial domain with data with the other domain data as well. Okay. So relationship data sets nothing but a rel rec. So whenever we see some uh, relationship between the two domain or more than two domain, some adverse event is happening. So to reduce that adverse event, the doctors were given some concomitant medication. So there is a relationship between the adverse event and concomitant medication for the subject. Due to getting that fever or some disease, the doctor will assign the medication. So that type of two records they will pick from the two data set and create one extra data set called RELREG. And this trial domain and RELREG data set they haven't used for any analysis purpose. They use in the Sdtm level for review purpose only we use. Okay, so in the Adam level we haven't used any relationship or trial related data set for analysis purpose. Okay, so supplementary data set nothing but, so as per the implementation guide, so we have a fixed variables in the implementation guide. If you go and check with the 3.3 version also, each domain have a limited and fixed variables. So whenever we have an extra variable is present in the CRF or raw data set, so we are not going to lose the data as well. So for that purpose, so DM is the main domain like you. So DM has for example 20 variables they mentioned in the implementation, but still, so in the raw data set they have one extra variable information. So what we do, simply we send that information into the supplementary data set, so that what happen, so we cannot lose any data whenever it comes to the Adam data set, the supplementary data set we have transposed and get back into the main data. Okay, in the Adam level we haven't created any supplementary. In the Sdtm, so as per the main domain, if the information was not fitted into the main domain, so we send those into the supplementary data set. Okay, so roles before roles we will see the core variable. So each and every variable have some core. If you see here, okay, here you can see the last column core. So for example, study ID, the core is, you can see study ID, the core is required. The RFST DTC, the core is expected. Some variables you can see investigator name, it is a permissible. Likewise, each and every variable having some core. So what is this core? So required nothing but basic to the identification of the data record. That variable always be included in the data set, and that variable observation should not be null record. Okay, study ID there. In the sense, whenever you did this particular domain, demographic domain, this variable must and should include in the domain, and that variable should not containing any missing value. If the missing values are there, that is not a as per the CD standard. So required variable, wherever you see any required variable, that variable must be included, should not having any null record in the data or that variable. In case of required expected variable should be included, must always be included, can be null for some record. Okay, so here you can see RFSTDTC, RARFENDTC. These variables are there. So as per the programming, we have to include that variables in the data set, and some records may be null also. So don't bother, because RFSTDTC is some subject having the date, some subject having don't have any date. So some missing records also acceptable, but the variable should be included in the data set. And permissible can be null or not present, must be included if it is collected. So permissible variable time what we do, so whenever you check the permissible variable, for example investigator name is there and birth DTC both are there. So birth related information was collected in our study or in the CRF there. So we can map that information. If birth DTC information was not collected in our CRF, we cannot include the birth date information in the data set. So as per the CDISC rule, if the permissible variable information is collected in the CRF, then we can map that variable. Either it is a null or either it is a value. But if it is not collected in the CRF, we are going to exclude that variable from our data set. So there are three main core: required, expected, and permissible. So this question will ask in the interview: what, how many types of core variables are there? Required, expected, and permissible. core nothing but required nothing but so the variable should be included, should not be null. Expected should be included, can be null for some record. Permissible if the information is collected in the CRF, that variable only we included and we will map as per the raw data set. Okay, and whenever it comes to the role, each and every variable playing some role in the data set. Okay, so qualifier role nothing but you can see the role also there in the implementation guide. No need to by heart this role, just for understanding purpose. Even this is theoretical knowledge, like identifier, topic, record. So each and every playing some role. But core, this programmatically sometimes it will use because study ID is missing. So that will given a warning while running the Pinnacle 21 tool. Okay, so that is why role also we try to remember. So qualifier role nothing but whenever we measured something and we will get some value, right? That value containing what the variable we can perform that qualifier role. Okay. So timing variable, so dates, date related, start date, end date, and any duration. So that type of variables are playing the role of timing. So topic nothing but specifically focus the observation like test and terms and any treatment related information containing variables are playing the topical role. So identifier role nothing but use it to identify the record like main variable, what is study ID, what is subject number, what is the sequence number. So this type of information containing variables playing as a identifier role. Okay, this is the overview about the programming before starting the Sdtm. Just giving the overview. Go to this PPT and try to understand, so the information. Okay, this information will helpful you throughout your career. Okay, whenever they ask what are the data set you have done in the Sdtm, don't tell like DMA, not like that. So I have worked on interventions, events, findings. This type of domains I have worked. Whenever they ask what type of ADAM data set you have, so OCCDS, ADSL, BDS type. So they specifically ask, can you please tell me some BDS data structure name? So that time you will tell ADLB, ADRS, ADTT, and ADAE, like the domains I have worked on. Like that you need to answer. So because once you are, going with an experience, you behave like an experienced people. Like freshers how they answer. So can you please tell me the some variables in the ADSL? They will tell like use of JID and some simple variables. But you just what are the derived variables we have done? Like some population flags, some so disposition related variable. You need to speak about that complex variable derivation. So that what happened. So okay, this person has some knowledge on the said Adam. So that is why they are picking the complex variable. Okay, so everybody is telling we are as an interview panel we will ask some questions like tell me some variable names in the ADSL. They will age, sex, race. Those are the common variables everybody know. But who are speaking with some disposition related end of the study status statement and some population flag related information speak. So we will focus on interest on that type of candidates. Okay, that is overview. So tomorrow I'm not going to take any class. Next class will be on 17th. Okay. So I'm not feeling that much of well. So from starting, this trial domains topic we'll see. Okay. On the Monday. And if time is there, we'll start the DM as well. Okay. So DM also same programming. So I'll take a empty editor window and we'll cross comparing with the CRF and implementation guide and we'll write one by one variables. Okay. So the TUTRRS are the major oncology related SDTM domain. These are little bit complex and even AESCSP. So we'll see one by one. Once we done this, so we'll focus on the Pinnacle 21 defined.xml validation process and other. Okay. Even this take around 10 classes. Okay. So we'll go one by one because so what how much you learn at the point, so that will useful for your entire career. Okay. Yeah. So anybody having any doubt on this or previous class, you can unmute and ask me now. Yeah.
Hi,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, tell me.
I have question about the RS data set. There are some responses in the RS data set N and Y. What are they, sir?
Okay, so yes, no responses. So some
Under
parameter, some
under
parameter, yeah,
yeah.
some parameter they will give like so yes or no. Okay, why are no responses? Even every and I'll show you.
We only did PD, NE, those SD, those kind of partial response. But under that variable,
Hmm.
we also have N and Y. So
Okay, so let me check. So HGTM data or ADAM data you are talking about.
no, sir, RS data set.
Okay. Even
Because we
this,
did the join, we might not see in the
so this one, right?
yes, sir. Yeah.
So here you can see this is a non-targeted response. Targeted responses and non-targeted response. So here you can see why nothing but that particular lesion was present. Yes. Okay. So yes or no responses also they will collect. Okay.
But why would that be under RSSTRESC
So so
variables?
yes, this is the response they collected. Okay. Whenever they collected some responses, so they will use, for example, here this is a one subject response. Okay, so you can see the test series: new targeted, non-targeted, sorry, overall response, and this targeted response. So every time, so first they will check whether the targeted response is there or not. Okay, so yes or no. Then the overall response is our main response, like PD, CRPD. Okay, so this is also just they will check whether the targeted new lessons present or not. So this is a different parameter. If this is a CRF collection time, so they will check all this type of responses are collected. Okay, so this time new lesson indicator. So in the CRF they will mention the tab like yes or no. So first the doctor will check the response is yes. Then next they will go with the next section. Okay, like that the information was collected. Even this parameter in the Adam level. So if you see the specification file.